Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Albert Snow, Holistic Gastroenterologist. Uh, I wanted to address something that showed up in a Facebook page, a group that writes a lot of people and talk a lot about my work. It's a really nice group, and there's no bickering and fighting and all the things that go when you go in some of these other groups for colitis or something. Holy mackerel! You think that wear a coat of armor? Uh, I remember when I told people on Facebook one time, I said, uh, I can get kicked off of 6 groups in 6 days and just go one day at a time with just 6 words. I forget the exact words I used, but I'll tell you close to what it was. How do you do that? You go on these groups and you just say, hi, everybody. I can fix IBS. I can fix colitis. Boom. Minutes you're off. You get so many. I mean, it's amazing how many attacks you can get. Here's a group of people who desperately want to get healed. And when someone says something positive, plus these groups are all sponsored, not Facebook groups, but these were independent websites sponsored by drug companies. Oftentimes it was the drug companies that get rid of that guy. And or I'd have like running battles with the moderator saying, I can fix you, I'll treat you for nothing. And you tell them day by day how you're feeling. It's a 2 or 3 month process, and it always ended up bailing out. They started feeling good, and they didn't want to give the results because they would ruin their job, their career, managing these sites. So I want to talk a little bit about a post that just appeared on the Facebook page. I believe. I mean, I post on it a lot, and I don't know the exact order of the names. It's Dr. Snow's patients, past, present, future. Try googling some combination of that. I know it's Dr. Snow's past, present, future. I don't know. It's something like that. Anyways, you want to look at that group. Very positive group. Everybody supports each other. Everybody's got each other's back. I've never seen one negative, disparaging term. Oh, here we go. It didn't turn on. Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Snow. Today I wanted to address something that I saw on a Facebook page. There's a group, I think there's several worldwide, of people that talk about my treatment and my patients, and they're independent from me. And there's one, I'm going to struggle to remember the exact order of the name. It's a wonderful group. Dr. Snow's patients, past, present, and future. Try some combination like that. It might have present, past, I don't know. It's a wonderful group. Everybody picks everybody up. I've never seen one disparaging comment. As a matter of fact, a lot of these people end up becoming friends. It's just very supportive. I contribute to that group because I'm asked to, and I get a little deeper than I intended by answering a lot of questions. I was going to just make a few entries, but today something caught my attention. If you go to that group, you're going to see a lot of references to Twinkies. Twinkies. How'd they come about? Why is there even a page? There's pictures of Twinkies in the background on the Facebook page. What's the big deal? Why are we talking about Twinkies in a group that's about Colitis and Crohn's? Well, there's a reason, and it kind of took off and got a life on its own. It was on a lot of social media passed around. We even had people in Europe who didn't know what a Twinkie was, and they thought it was a drug, and they were asking their doctor over there to prescribe, give a prescription for Twinkies. So here's the deal. When it comes to, see, it's not just a joke. Nothing I do is a joke, even though I joke around. There's always a point there. The point is that people ask about diet. What about diet? And I'm always saying there is no diet. There's one thing you need to emphasize. We can call it a diet if we want. It's temporary. It's a month and a half, 2 months. Depends on how you're doing. But it's not like a lifestyle. It's a low-fiber diet. And a lot of people, when they come to me and they have inflammatory bowel, they already know that. And through trial and error, they said, I can eat spaghetti, rice, and something obscure. And last night was somebody who just spilled water on Uncle Ben's rice. They've been living that way. What about food? Food. Everyone thinks it's about the book cook, no gluten. It's this, it's FODMAP. It's none of those things. It's as simple as this. I've been doing it for 40 years. And I wish it was 9 different diets that I've tried on my patients. And I haven't tried much since 35 years ago because we hit the jackpot the first time. And, not the first time I tried, a couple of times saying, go vegetarian. It didn't do everything. It got worse, actually. More vegetables. Here's the deal, and here's why the Twinkie connection. You need to eat a low-fiber diet temporarily. And, low-fiber, people are going to go, like, some are going to go extreme. Like, what about this brand of bread? And, it's not about that. It's I call it the law of obviousness. Where you look at your bowel store, okay, and it's irritated. You have patches there that don't have any mucosal lining, which is the magical stuff that will coat the surface of the bowel wall. Right now, it's all irritated. Food going over, scraping it, becomes some stomach acids. That's the definition of an irritated bowel. IBS, Colitis, and Crohn's is the same thing. One's just more irritated than the other. So you eat an apple. We did this in an experiment on Facebook. I said, hey, everybody, low fiber. And they go, low fiber, that means no raw fruit? Yeah. Well, how can that be healthy? Well, it is. Listen, the world is turned upside down nutritionally when you have an inflamed bowel. You don't know that you are eating food that's counterproductive for you to tone down your bowel that's irritated. You don't want to drag rough stuff over it. We had an experiment where we said, eat 2 apples and then tell us how you do in the morning. Oh, it was terrible. Diarrhea was up all night. I said, well, eat some Twinkies. Twinkies? Yeah, eat Twinkies and tell us tomorrow how you did. And it was smooth. Smooth sailing. How did they come up with the idea of Twinkie? Well, here's the story. I'm in the grocery store. I'm waiting in line where you get all that junky bubble gum and candy that tries to sell you and goofy sunglasses and all that. And right in front of me was Twinkies. And I ate a lot of those when I was a kid. And I hadn't seen those. I said, what's in those things? Long list of stuff in there. And look, one of the things I noticed, because this is what I do for a living, is no fiber. It's hard to find things you can put in your body that have 0 fiber. It would be enjoyable, assuming like sweets. So I thought about that. I didn't buy them or anything. I just thought about it. I said, low fiber. What would be we consider people saying to me, what's the best food? Well, we did this as a tongue in cheek. I said Twinkies. We built a food pyramid. And not only on the very top where you have a place like dairy or grain, whatever's on there, we had that Twinkie sticking up. But every part of the food pyramid was Twinkies. Tongue in cheek, we're getting the point across is that it's low fiber, not apples, not a healthy salad, not whole grain bread. Yeah, you can have that. That one's on the borderline. I'll explain that in a minute. But it's low fiber. No raw fruit, no raw vegetables, no nuts, seeds of corn. Temporarily. Hey, there's some exceptions, right? Yes. Soft fruit like bananas, mango, papaya. What else you got there? Avocados. Not a lot. But what can you eat? Anything that's cooked. And I get a lot of people say, well, can I have this? Can I have this? When I get a little frustrated, I say it this way. You can have any food of any kind under any circumstances out there, ever being any question or doubt, if it's cooked. You can be cooking it in any way you can think of. Why? Breaks down the fiber. Hey, what about kale and stuff? I'm going to miss out on my vitamin A, D. Put in the blender. Put anything in the smoothie. The agitation from the blender breaks down the fiber. It's all about fiber. Break it down or consume less of it. And people go, what about the whole wheat bread? It's got 3.5 grams. No, we don't go that far. It's just, I tell people that one of our most common themes here we say is mottos. We say, just do the effing program. I said no raw fruit, no raw vegetables, no nuts, seeds, or corn. I didn't say whole wheat bread. I didn't say a lot of other things, and it's hard to communicate to people when they've been programmed the opposite. Fiber. Or, people say it's a certain diet. Food is very insignificant. Food doesn't cause the problem. You can't eat your way into the problem. You can't eat your way out of the problem. And so we talk about Twinkies as a reference to the concept. The concept, it's like a little icon. It reminds you when you look at it, it says, oh, yeah, it's just about the fiber. And when you transition from some goofy diet to the fiber, it's amazing. I just had a conversation with a man. His son has some issues, and we talked about food. And I said, we can have the loose stools and urgency reduced today if you just go light on the fiber. He said, no way. Yeah, really? I said, well, yeah. There's some things that I asked, what's he like to eat? I said, well, don't give him that. that give them this. Believe it or not, you can eat candy. Sugar's not an issue. People say, well, it's got to be sugar. I say, well, I'm not talking about the overall moving forward health of somebody managing their diabetes. We're talking about just fixing a colon. And I've told many of kids, yeah, go have some ice cream. As long as you're not lactose intolerant. Sugar has nothing to do with it. It's fiber, roughage, and you draw the line at that. If you have to start, getting the calculator out and measuring the amount of fiber, then that's not the food that you need to be worried about. It's the obvious stuff. The worst case scenario, cookies the best. How about Doritos? The worst. The day after Super Bowl, my phone rings off the wall. Big mountains of Doritos are so harsh and sharp and edgy that even if you didn't know you had a GI issue, you know afterwards. These foods are not going to cause the problem. So people say to me, what do you do about food? I don't know. Can I have salmon? Or, well, another one came up today. Asparagus? I said, well, if you cook the asparagus. And then when there's question marks, things like, pancakes. I go, let's go eat eggs. Let's go eat some pancakes. Find out. Instead of walking around with being a mystery, holding yourself hostage. If you eat food and it's the wrong stuff and you end up getting diarrhea, it doesn't do you any damage. It just ruins your day at the most. We don't want that. But, somebody emailed me and said, well, I had some beans and I had diarrhea. I said, well, maybe there was a connection, but you didn't tear yourself up. You just irritated the bowel. So that's why we eat low fiber. You kind of don't aggravate the bowel muscle anymore because in the stomach, esophagus, those upper GI places are not as vulnerable. It's really the lower GI because there's a lot, 20 plus feet, the biggest muscle in our body. And if it gets irritated, it gets out of control. The esophagus is part of the GI tract, obviously, has different rules. The stomach is a little in the middle, kind of different rules. It's the lower GI. So what people want to know is, what's the Twinkie thing about? No fiber. It says right, and it's hard when I look at Double Dog. I looked at some of these other things, Hostess cupcakes. They got half a gram, unacceptable to us true Twinkie fans. And they're always abundant. So what you want to do is you want to look at food from the perspective of texture. That's all it is. Texture. We're not looking for the nutritive value. We're not looking to find plants that contain vitamin A. No, we're looking just to avoid the obvious stuff. Pasta, of course. We always get that one. Can I have rice? I don't think you can eat pasta uncooked, right? I don't think you can have tomato sauce. What about coffee and alcohol? Okay, coffee and alcohol. Here's another rule, little asterisk. Also, what you can get away with is okay. You say to me, well, I don't know. I'll say, let's go get some coffee. We'll find out. There's two of them. What about alcohol? I don't know. Let's get drunk. I don't know. Have one beer, have 10 beers. The only time that would be a problem is if you're bleeding. Because coffee, caffeine is a diuretic. You'd see more blood. This is my way of demonstrating why they don't do any damage. If you assume something that's a diuretic, even if it's natural, alcohol one, and I think caffeine is too. They thin the blood, which is, pretty good thing, right? I think if the coffee advocates are going to tell you all the benefits of coffee, they're going to mention that one. Diuretic. Older guys like me, let's lower cholesterol, clean the blood. All right? Thin the blood is what they do with blood thinners. So you already have a condition where you're bleeding some. And then say, let's have a couple beers. Okay, you say, geez, I've got a lot of bleeding. And I'll say, well, it certainly isn't the fiber. The beer doesn't have fiber. It's the alcohol thins it up. But when it does that, it does no damage. And you're not like, I had this conversation today too. We're not tearing ourselves up just because you might have seen some more blood doesn't mean, or had more diarrhea, it just means you aggravated. I have a patient who's really a friend too, that at least one time they were symptom free and wow, looks like we're done. And then they binged a little bit. And it's what I call a test. We challenge it. It's a challenge. They went out and ate TGF Fridays, spicy wings, and they had the whole bit, the onion thing and all that, and they had a rough time. And they're still not 100% back. It took quite a while because once you get that 20-foot muscle mad at you, then it takes a while to calm it down. So that's the significance of Twinkies. It's a tongue-in-cheek, but also when you're in a flare-up and you're hungry, if you have an apple and you have a Twinkie, go for the Twinkie, and I recommend you do that. Okay. Thank you. We'll be back with another episode soon. Thank you.